Good morning. Welcome to the Weather Desk. I'm Meteorologist Craig Moeller. It is Thursday, July 9th. We've got a great show lined up for you. We do this each and every day starting at 9 o'clock right here from our 13 News Now studios. Let's take a look at our headlines. We've got cleanup continuing from the rough weather earlier this week across the country, and I'll have the storm outlook over the coming days. There are some areas still under the gun for more severe weather. We'll talk about those areas. Also, wildfires continue to rage out west. We're going to take you out to Colorado and show you that one out around Aspen Acres, south of around Pueblo. And there's also some stuff going on over in Europe. We've been talking about this heat wave, but the hot conditions in Portugal, France, and Spain, those areas have seen some wildfires as well. So we'll show you what's happening over there. We have a brand new drought monitor update came out this morning. Some good news for parts of Hampton Roads. We'll take a look at what's happened across our local region, but also what's happening across the nation as well in terms of the drought. And then we're going to take a look at the tropics, and we've got not much going on in the Atlantic, on the Atlantic side, but we have a couple things that we're watching in the Pacific. And then there's Bobby, that what was a super typhoon, now a violent typhoon, as it is moving, should come just north of Taiwan. We'll show you that, and it's going to impact China, where they've already been dealing with some really rough weather. More on that as well. And then a tale, we have a story on a young boy in Texas who was struck by lightning while inside his house. We'll explain what happened, and maybe something to think about when you deal with thunderstorms where you live as well. So these are the topics. We're going to start off taking a look at yesterday's highs. We've been doing this the past few mornings here on the Weather Desk, just really driving home how hot it's been. Vegas 109, 113 in Phoenix, 101 in Dallas, hot across Little Rock and Atlanta. We had relief here in Hampton Roads, only 81 degrees in Norfolk, 96 down in Orlando. As we take a look, though, there are more showers and storms working across the central U.S. Parts of Missouri has already seen very heavy rain out around Kansas City, some flood warnings and advisories there, some more rough weather off to the north. Parts of the country are still cleaning up. We mentioned there was violent weather earlier this week as well. Meanwhile, the West is bracing for the same kind of brutal heat, the heat that they've been dealing with, and what we got a taste of here on the East Coast last week. Reed Binion reports.
It's a lot of heat. There's nothing we can do about it.
We have to get here right as soon as the park opens before it heats up.
Residents in Los Angeles doing what they can to stay cool with a heat advisory in effect this week for parts of Southern California, including L.A.
We're putting on sunscreen, wearing hats.
Trying to beat the heat in the San Fernando Valley.
Meanwhile, much of the West is bracing for a dangerous heat dome set to build this weekend. Widespread high temperatures in the upper 90s and low 100s are likely Saturday, from Oregon and California to east across the Rockies. It comes as parts of the Midwest are still recovering from brutal storms, including a tornado that ripped through the Detroit Lakes, Minnesota area this week.
I'm really just amazed by all the people that have come out and helped.
Communities in the east also dealing with the aftermath of violent storms. In Ocean Township, New Jersey, the state's governor visited a BJ's wholesale club where a section of roof collapsed amid heavy rain and severe flooding.
The mayor was saying DCA is coming out to assess why this happened, make sure we're doing everything we need to do to make sure our buildings are sound.
Authorities said no one inside the store was harmed. Also in New Jersey, the roof of a vacant hotel collapsed in the wake of severe weather. Part of that was caught on camera. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Wow, impressive to see that. As we take a look at the surface features across the country, a couple things I want to note. First of all, for Hampton Roads, we're seeing warmer weather after that high yesterday of 81. Frontal boundaries lifting to the north, that opens the door for the heat to return into our region. I'll have a lot more on that coming up. Back in the Midwest, there is a warm front just down to the south of Missouri, and to the north up over Iowa, there's a stationary front. This is sagging south. This is kind of lifting. It's putting the squeeze on some of those heavy rains back across Missouri. So heat in the southeast spreading up, and again, heat building back across the southwest. Let's talk about the severe weather threat. There is some potential south of this area and closer to this cold front here as we expand the view. I'll put the areas on yellow, meaning level 2 or slight risk. That does include northern parts of Virginia into Maryland. Delaware, and southern New Jersey, also Accomack County. So here in our 13 News Now viewing area, a level 1 threat. We might see a couple of stray, stronger storms, but the better chances for some of the rougher weather late today and this evening off to the north, as you can see, and the primary concern would be gusty winds. We also have the potential for strong winds back across the central U.S. and back out from Kansas into eastern Colorado and western Nebraska. They also have to worry about hail there. That extends all the way up through western parts of North and South Dakota there. So they're going to be looking for some large hail potentially, and the tornadic threats back across the central U.S., central Missouri through southern Illinois and southern Indiana, from Louisville to Paducah, St. Louis, Rolla, Springfield, Cape Girardeau also under that elevated threat of tornadoes. As we look ahead to Friday, the storm threat primarily in the central U.S., winds the primary concern. You can see hail. And then on Saturday, it settles down to the south. So the severe weather threat not as great here across Hampton Roads. Now, we did mention that heat dome and the concern, extreme heat warnings for Southern California and southern Arizona. We do have heat advisories up the California coast. Oklahoma, much of Oklahoma also with heat advisories. And then for the southeast coast, you can see there are heat warnings for southern parts of North Carolina, South Carolina, and down there through Georgia, down through Savannah. We have those heat warnings and then a heat advisory for the southern parts of our viewing area. That includes Currituck, Camden, Pasquotank, Perquimans, and Chowan. And then south of the Albemarle, we have Washington, Terrell, and Dare counties. All right, so the heat is contributing to the wildfires. We also have the drought monitor update coming up. That drought monitor just out. Stay tuned in 2 minutes. Let's take a look at that updated drought monitor. I want to start, though, by showing you the previous drought monitor, so you can really see how things have changed in the last week. And across Hampton Roads, you know, we've been having this wetter pattern. Remember, a few weeks ago, we had extreme drought. Then there was severe drought. It was knocked back to moderate drought. And this is the way it looked going into the brand new monitor that just came out. Let's take a look. As we put the new one on, this is the brand new one. I just added it. There are some changes. 3 areas I want to draw your attention to. One here in Virginia Beach and Chesapeake. There's one up around the Richmond area, and then back here towards Rocky Mount. So let me show you one more time. You notice Richmond, these areas, there was more extreme drought up there. This was last week, and Rocky Mount was in good shape. As we show you the new one, this area's gotten drier in the last week, so they're back to extreme. But the Richmond area, they're actually getting some relief. Now let's focus on Chesapeake and Virginia Beach. Areas that were under moderate drought have now been taken out. They're basically just a little dry. We have Vine up through Pungo. I think about all of the farmland out there, a lot of great bike riding areas that folks just like to get out and run those kind of country roads a little bit. So this is some really good news for farmers out there in these areas. Also, eastern portions of Chesapeake out towards Fentress. Again, no longer under moderate drought, now just abnormal dry. That's an improvement. I mentioned the Richmond areas and areas out to the west. They've been taken out from extreme back to severe drought. So that is an improvement as well. And some of these areas that were severe drought have been now added as moderate. So things improving around Chester and maybe Petersburg, a little bit of improvement. This is the area where it went the other way. Again, Rocky Mount was doing okay. Now they're back under extreme drought. So that's what's happening in our area. As you can see, the southeast U.S. is in pretty good shape right now. Great Lakes region in good shape. Much of the central U.S. has been dealing with a lot of active weather. So you see Missouri now in great shape. Texas actually doing pretty good till you get up around the panhandles. We are still looking at very dry conditions here back in the western U.S., especially the northwest part of Colorado, still under exceptional drought. Want to talk to you about Pueblo because it is still dry in this part of Colorado. You have severe to extreme drought, and it's those dry conditions and gusty winds that are helping fuel wildfires in Colorado. Crews there are still working to put out the Aspen Acres fire there in Pueblo, just south of Colorado Springs. It scorched nearly 100,000 acres and is still just 16% contained. Olivia Young spoke with one couple who lost their dream home to the flames.
It's just amazing. You can just lose everything that quick.
Jeff and Audrey Rasmussen spent years creating their dream home in the mountains above Beulah.
We've been working on remodeling it, ever since we got up there. And I built a workshop up there, and we even had a guest house that we fixed up.
But in minutes, smoke turned to an emergency evacuation order.
What do I pack? What do I need? What do I want?
The couple grabbed their pets and left in a camper as the Aspen Acres fire approached.
You could see the fire coming down the hill. It was coming right at our house.
The couple fled here to a Lake Pueblo campsite the state had opened up for evacuees. But each night, their view an ongoing reminder of the fire's continued devastation.
So there's hundreds of people just like us.
A week later, the call they were dreading came.
Everything's gone. There's nothing to salvage.
A friend's photo confirmed their beloved home was gone, along with vehicles, family photos, and a lifetime of memories.
In our guest house, you can't even see it. It's just ash. You put a lot of work in these places, and then something like this takes it all. This is all we have now.
You picture it, but when you actually see it, you kind of melt right with your house. Okay, that's it. Gone.
Mm-hmm.
As they wait to be allowed to return and survey the damage, the couple lives in their RV.
This is home.
Grateful for the kindness of strangers.
We got dog food down at the resource center and, all kinds of snacks.
As they face an uncertain future.
It's really hard to take it all in. Kind of been numb here for a while now.
Stories have been heart-wrenching as you're getting a chance to hear from those whose lives are directly impacted. We're taking a look now over in Europe because this has been a problem here as well. They've been dealing with a lot of heat. Portugal, Spain, France, the heat continues for Europe. They've officially come through with the hottest June on record in Europe, and there's more heat right now. You can see Madrid at 99 along with Bordeaux, Paris at 88, so a little cooler there. London hot as well at 90. This intense heat wave has been fueling these fires across southern Europe. Crews are still working to contain flames across Spain, France, and Portugal. As I mentioned, tens of thousands of people have been forced to evacuate or locked down. Parts of those countries remain under very high or extreme fire risk levels due to the persistent heat. All right, coming up next, we're going to hear from a teen in Texas who was struck by lightning while inside his home. We'll explain how it's even possible. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. Time to track the tropics, and the outlook for the Atlantic Basin still really good. Now, I want to show you something. I'm starting off with the updated forecast from Colorado State University. They've been doing hurricane seasonal forecasts. I think they started back in 1984. So they've been at it a long time. They're really good. They've actually just updated their outlook, and they have reduced the number of named storms, hurricanes, and major hurricanes that they had previously forecast just a couple months ago. So now they went from 11 named storms. Their new prediction is 9. They went from 5 hurricanes down to 4, and from 2 majors down to 1. The reason for that developing super El Nino. So we'll see how things play out. Right now, we've been talking so much about the Saharan dust coming across. We don't have anything going on here in the Atlantic Basin. A little bit of just convection and storminess back in the southern part of the Gulf, but really nothing showing any signs of organization over the next 7 days. We're in good shape. As we take a look back across into the eastern part of the Pacific, we do have a few areas we're watching in the eastern Pacific and then in the central Pacific as well. This area has about a 50 to 60% chance of developing over the coming week, and these areas south of Hawaii, forecast to stay well south of Hawaii, also have a moderate chance of development. So there are some things we're watching. Now, I do want to update you on Bavi. This is the typhoon, and here's Taiwan. This was the one that had such an impact moving through Guam and just passing by there. As it continues off on this track, it's looking like the center of circulation will likely pass just north of Taiwan, but close enough to produce a lot of rain and some more wind before making that landfall in China. As we take a look at the outlook with Bavi, here it is, movement west-northwest at 12 as of 5 a.m. our time this morning, 125-mile-per-hour winds, gusts to 155. Again, that center forecast to likely stay just north of Taiwan, with the dirty side passing a little farther to the north, but eventually coming in and hitting China. And China's been dealing with some really rough weather there. So we'll continue to watch all of that. Again, that is the latest on the tropics. Now, back here at home, we have another story to share with you. Strong storms are not unusual this time of year. Obviously, we get into this, we talk about the severe weather threats, but what happened to a boy in Texas certainly was. Here's a look at several lightning strikes just lighting up the skies here over Houston and the skyline there Tuesday night. Now, a teen was struck by one of those bolts while he was inside his home. ABC's Hannah Battah has the story.
This morning, a teenager outside Houston, Texas, sharing his story after being electrocuted by lightning while inside his home. 13-year-old Vlad Skridin was playing video games on his computer.
Super gigantic boom, and I got super scared. I jumped up. I also had a shock on my stomach, so I just started screaming.
Officials say lightning struck his home and traveled through the wiring. The family believes the lightning then flowed through a metal part of his desk, which was touching his skin.
It's like 1 in a million or something.
Experts say during a lightning storm, stay away from anything metal.
The safest thing might be to sit in the middle of a room and read a book. The electrical things are dangerous.
In rural Illinois, a reminder of the power of lightning.
She did have a way of walking in a room. She was just a presence.
8-year-old Kinsley Sheeta was struck and killed while getting off a swing in her family's backyard. The storm still appearing far off in the distance. Her grandfather says there was no time to react.
He said he just heard a rumble and he said, hey, get off now. And turned around and just like that.
And in Florida, a Seminole County deputy is recovering after lightning indirectly struck him while he was touching a gate. He was taken to a hospital but was conscious and alert. As for 8-year-old Kinsley, she's believed to be the 4th death from lightning in the U.S. this year. Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Lightning so incredibly dangerous. Take a look live outside. This is from the Jordan Bridge. We do have some clouds out there. We're going to talk about when we may see some more sunshine and when we're going to see some storms. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. Here we are with a look live from our tower. This is the Thompson Creek Window Company sky view. It is mostly cloudy right now. We should see a little more sunshine peeking through, but we do have the clouds at this moment. We're dry around Norfolk. Winds are south-southeast at just 6 miles per hour, 82 degrees right now, with some sunshine breaking through a little bit later as we get closer to noon. We should see the temperatures jump and spike into the low 90s. Now, if the clouds hang in there longer through the middle part of the day or into the afternoon, we may have a harder time getting quite there, but I think we're on our way. Again, temperatures right now around 82, so this is lining up with our forecast guidance, and we just need to see a little more sunshine to help those temperatures spike. Looks like one of our cameras are resetting, but no worries here. You can see those feels like temperatures later this afternoon, 100 to 103. And tomorrow, I think we may have a heat advisory. We're not under one at this point. The Weather Service hasn't put that out, but we're going to see those feels like temperatures up around 105. And when we get there, if it looks like we're going to have heat, the feels like temperatures or the heat index values up around 105 for 3 hours or longer, they'll put us under the advisory, and I think we're going to be pretty close to that tomorrow. Air temperatures mid to upper 90s, more heat tomorrow. As we take a look at the temperature trend after that hot one tomorrow, we step back to 92. Cold front comes through Saturday, triggering afternoon showers and storms. We're back into the upper 80s Sunday into Monday. Another surge of warmer air for the end of next week. Here's a look at the satellite and the radar images. We have the clouds right now. There are some breaks in the clouds down to the south and off to the west. Then you get farther north and you do pick up more of the rain. Again, that level 2 or slight risk to the north. We do have a marginal level 1 risk today. And you see the lightning up there. I just wanted to show you, since we did the story on the lightning, about 41 strikes detected here within the last 15 to 20 minutes. Those areas just off to the north. We've seen some showers, but again, most of the activity is farther to the north and tracking to the east at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So as we go along, we will be watching for the potential development of some showers and storms this afternoon and evening, mainly north, but a chance here. And then again, later in the day tomorrow, as we get into Friday evening, you see some of those storms kind of working through the area. Here's the rest of the 7-day forecast. I mentioned our temperatures warm today, really hot today, and super hot tomorrow. Late afternoon showers and storms. I just showed you those with our futurecast. Scattered wet weather on Saturday, and then cooling as we get into Sunday. Still some showers possible. Monday looks to be partly cloudy, and then more sunshine with a little break from the humidity into early next week. Want to remind you to stay in touch with our forecasts, and the easiest way to do that when you're away from your television is with our mobile app. Scan that QR code. The app is free and available at Google Play and the App Store. Thanks for joining us.